Hello, and welcome back to Satisfactory. Checking to make sure that I'm actually recording this time. So, nothing like doing a couple hours of recording only to find out that at some point you tapped the wrong button and it stopped recording on you. I need a big light somewhere saying recording in progress so I can notice when it goes out. So, what we're looking at here is the reinforced iron plate factory that I made, which is already obsolete. By which I mean, this factory was making use of all of the output of Mark I miners. I can double its size now. I'm not going to, because there's no real need for me to produce twice as many reinforced iron plates when this thing is idle because it's full. Something just finished in the MAM. I've been doing all sorts of things. I unlocked a whole bunch of recipes because I ran around in the world and found a whole bunch of disk drives I could scan. I also found some Summers loops and some purple thingies. These guys, Mercer spheres. You notice that we have 4 depots now that are uploading various things I would normally use. The next thing would be iron plate, because I use a lot of concrete and iron plate when I put up foundations. And I'm all the time saying, oh, put a bunch of foundations of like, oh, I'm out of iron plate or out of concrete. So basically, I could turn the reanimated SAM into SAM fluctuators. In fact, if you sit there at the workbench and you start building it, so you just tap the spacebar and repeat it on build, it'll use up all the reanimated SAM you've got. And it'll say, oh, I'm out, but it doesn't actually stop. You'll sit there iterating on, I can't do it. And when you get the reanimated SAMs that you need to do the next one, it'll do the next one. So you poke that and you just leave that going while you're off editing up your plans and you're working out what you want to build and so on. So I ended up with enough stuff. So you see, I could make 5 more dimensional depot uploaders. Not going to place them quite yet. I really want to work out what it is that I most need. An iron plate may or may not make the cut. It probably will. But what other 4 things are going to? See down there, we have a concrete factory. But I keep turning on and off. I turned it off because I was going to rebuild it. I turned it back on because I wasn't building anything in that spot anyway, and I might as well leave it on. And then I replaced the miner with a Mark II miner and took away the overclocking. And yeah, so it's just a convenient supply. The next big thing we want to do, well, we have unlocked a whole bunch of alternate recipes. I won't go over them all at once. I could sit here and go over every one of the recipes. And we'd have a big long video and it'd be totally boring to everybody, including me, and nobody would remember any of it anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until we use a recipe, and then I'll say, well, this is how it works and this is why I picked it. And we're going to be doing that fairly soon, so we'll come up with a couple of them. Hey, Ray. You're now Ray again. So our next big goal is to complete phase 2. We also have a couple of bits of research we can unlock, but it's probably going to take a while to build those 100, what are they, automated wiring? So you need to build 100 automated wiring, and one machine only turns out like a couple of minutes. But here's the trick. I can put together a factory and start that going, and maybe it'll take 20 minutes to do, but during those 20 minutes, I can finish up the other milestones that are in phase 4. So our next step is to plan that factory. And while I am planning the factory, I'm going to be draining its output. You see that plate over there with all those things on it? those are draining. Those are already draining. So I am planning on taking up all this building that I did for the initial smart plates and such. I've already turned off. I turned off the miners and they drained it, and I picked them up. We're going to start picking up more things as time goes by. We can pick up the smelters now. In fact, what I can do is just wave my magic wand through here, say all of you things can go away. Because we do not need you anymore. And are you the miner? I have probably cut power too. Nope. Still has power. That's right. The main power goes around this edge. I'm actually safe to get rid of this stuff. I think I should probably not fiddle with this. Anyway, so we have 3 normal iron nodes here. And over on this side, we have a impure stone. And I will be using those to make automated wiring. Now, you're thinking, automated wiring, my goodness, that takes copper, doesn't it? And doesn't it take steel? Well, guess what? There are alternate recipes that make this a much easier to make kind of. But he is slowly draining. I tell you what, I am going to very carefully turn my back on this area. We're going to do one last thing here before we go, as I'm going to note that I'm taking all of the stuff that was produced before. So I'm draining all of the stuff we mined, just letting this run with it until it has completely made everything it can make. And all of this stuff is taken out here and sent to the awesome shop. And the initial dump I did of all of the leftover versatile frames and smart plates gave me a whole ton of tickets. I've got like 62 tickets I can spend now. So we're getting to where I can start doing it. But we're still getting the occasional rotor, occasional plate, the occasional it's slow, but it's still coming. Now, rotors, turns out that while I had everything else duplicated elsewhere faster, I didn't have anybody else making rotors. So I kind of moved the rotors up and out here. So we end up with this full box full of rotors up here. And there may be a few more rotors that go down in the lower box. I am going to grab some of those. You need the rotors for assemblers. I now have way more rotors than I will need for a while. But if we end up with all of my rotors coming out of here, fitting in this one box, it'll make it easier. Anyway, the upshot of it is we're going to get this whole area cleaned up, and we're going to end up with just nothing here, and then we can rebuild with what we want. This guy, I put a Mark II miner down. So he's capable of turning out 60 per minute, and he's only using 45, so let's set him back to 45 per minute. If he ever cranks up again, he won't be overloading, so it'll save some power. And we've got a full box of concrete here. And our real concrete supply is over that way, but we have a closed supply here. You never know. So what do we want to build here? We want to build automated wiring. Let me grab my planning here. And I'm going to show what's under the covers just a little bit. And let's see, turn on, and there we go. What I did first was I said, well, how do I make automated wiring? And automated wiring requires stators. And I fiddled around with the count here. This count is the number of automated wiring machines. And what you do, no, I probably shouldn't go into detail on this because I'm not making this public. It's a bunch of crappy Python scripts that I have to keep editing to make them work every time I change anything else anywhere in the system. But the net effect is that I want to make wiring. It needs stators and stuff. And the stators need pipes. Well, I opened up the recipe iron pipe. Take a look at it. Let's see. Production. Let's put out a constructor. Put out a foundry. And let's put out an assembler. But first of all, iron pipe. Normally you make pipe with steel pipe, which takes 3 steel ingots. And those 3 steel ingots require iron and copper, iron and coal. So you got to go somewhere where there's coal. Get the iron and coal together, and you make the steel pipe. But if I want to do iron pipe, I can do just a lot more iron. So 20 iron to make 5 pipe. It's more iron by far, but no coal. Which means we can do the iron pipe locally without having to reach out for a coal supply. It's important because we want to save our coal for power. And what we don't use for power, we want to be using for making steel stuff that I can't make any other way. Because coal is precious right now. So we're going to use iron pipe. The other thing you'll see that's on that list, we need cable, which needs wire. And I'm going to make iron wire. So instead of making wire from copper, where it's every ingot of copper makes 2 wire, oh, copper is precious to me and it's far away. I'm going to take 5 iron ingots and make 9 iron wire. So it's 5 to 9 instead of 1 to 2. So if I had all the copper and iron I wanted, I would probably use the normal wire recipe because it uses fewer ingots total. But that means we can do everything with iron. And we go back and look at our editor again. This says we're going to make automated wiring. It requires stators, requires pipes, cables, and wires. Each one of these I'm saying fill whatever I need from the stuff above. And then I fiddled around with the number of machines here so the counts all came through nice integers. And I ended up with a checklist based on this. And you notice I've got 3 per minute, 60 per minute. All these are integer numbers. And down at the bottom, in order to make those 3 automated wiring per minute, we needed 116 iron ingots. So that's not a very even number. So when you start doing these special recipes, you start getting weird ratios. And here's where actually doing the math and writing some Python code helped out. So 116 iron ingots. And we go up here, we see the 80 of those iron ingots went to wire, and 36 of them went to making pipe. Okay. Okay, automated wiring.dat file. So now you do an adjusted plan. And I say, well, what have I got? Oh, the other thing was, this just says build it from ingots. Now, I need to figure out how many ingots I've got to work with. So I'm going to put a Mark II miner on an impure limestone, which is the limestone on the far side of the elevator, which currently isn't used. And then I'm going to take one of the normal nodes and put a Mark II miner on that. That's all I need. I could build much bigger. I could use all three of those nodes. Okay, I could use both of the stone nodes, and we'd end up with a factory that would deliver the 100 in less than 10 minutes. But it'd probably take me 3 hours to build the factory. So I decided to build smaller. Also means that everything fits. If we mine the stone and iron we want, and I say, well, do basic iron ingots using up all the limestone. Cool. And now build iron ingots with the remainder of our iron ore. Cool, got it. Once we have the iron ore, then we take the plan we had earlier and basically I invert it a little. It's wider. So I said, well, I had 116 iron wire, so I need 80 out of 116 times 100% of my ingots go to making wire. And then 120 out of the 144 cable, wire go to cable. And this will scale up as I change the amount of inputs. Then we make pipe at the end. Upshot of it is, if I go back up to the top level where I've set up a nice checklist, here is what I need to build. We've got miners. We've got a smelting floor that has 2 foundries and 3 smelters. We've got a iron wire floor that has 9 constructors building iron wire. And I decided that I was going to build 6 at 100% and then overclock the other 2. So I have 8 constructors total, which fits inside the blueprint machine. Now, you could fit 9. You could make it work. But, you know, I don't want to squirrel things up, and 8 works nicely. To do 9, you have to do more verticality than I want to do. I want to do 1 floor. So 1 floor of 9. And above that, a nice relaxed floor, 3 constructors building cable and 1 building pipe. Then above that, we've got a floor with 3 assemblers. Now, I could move the statters down. I could probably fit an assembler and 4 constructors on 1 floor, but yeah, let's put the assemblers on the same floor. Now, I am going to start making this smaller. We're going to focus on the first blueprint we're going to make. Now, the question is, I actually, like I said, I did about 2 hours worth of recording here. The question is, did my blueprints stick around? The answer is they did not. Although, yeah. Oh, unfortunate situations. There is a dupe. There's a dupe bug. It has to do with belts. And I wanted to exercise it so that I understood what to avoid, so I didn't duplicate things accidentally. And got it working. Verified it duped. Backed up my save. Well, returned to a previous save. But I think I may still have some duplicated items. So I've left this blueprint in my library to remind me at some point later on, if things look weird, if I have too many of something, something of limited supply, like too many disk drives. I'm not sure what I dumped on there and duped. I remember I duped some stuff, but such a whirlwind after that. I've forgotten what all I did. Maybe some hard drives. Summers loops are the other limited supply item I wanted to see if they duped. So we'll find out if I have extras of those. If we get to the end game and we count up how many are in the world versus how many I've used, and it comes up to something extra, I will do something to acquire the remainder from the world and sacrifice things. or just, sacrifice capability locally. Anyway, so apparently my 6x100, 2x135, and iron and basic iron ingots did get saved, despite the fact that I have rolled back to the start of that recording. What I want to do is put them in place. Blueprints, we're editing. So iron and basic iron ingots goes into building floors in smelters and foundries. And iron wire goes in here. We've got the first 2 floors ready to go. So I want to load the blueprint. Let's verify what we've got here. Iron and basic iron ingots. Since this isn't the way I left it at the end of what I had recorded, I wanted to check out and make sure that it's actually something sane. And it looks like my power is run. This could be correct. So what we're doing here, this will actually serve to refresh me as well. On this corner, we're bringing in limestone. And we've got, as it shows there on the editor, which I've left in the upper left-hand corner, we're making basic iron ingots at 75%. Okay. So they've got, coming from here, he's down over here so I can pick it up quickly. So limestone comes in, the splitter sends it up there, and the splitter sends it up there. This isn't really splitting, but it is making a nice tight curve to send us up to the right place. The other input comes in over here. This is iron, and it needs to go to 3 iron ingot smelters and then back over to the foundry. So it comes in here, and there's a splitter right there. And the left-hand side of the splitter goes out to another splitter that splits 3 ways and goes up to Matty, Mo, and Jack up here. So these guys, iron ingots, they need to run at 91.667%, or we could just say 82.5. But 82.5 divided by 3. Oh my God, it works. I typed in the formula and it computed it. No more typing 0.33333. So, running 91.6667%, making iron ingots. And the iron, like I said, half of it got split to the right to go over to these guys. The other half comes over here and gets sent up. Oh! I have an error and I'm glad we caught it. The other half of this has to come through here and to here. I was so excited that straight mode did that I didn't realize I was going into the wrong one. See, that's a merger. Is merging all of my outputs and sending them out that way. We'll get to that in a moment. This is the input. I'm going to start from here and I'm going to straight line. We're going to come to the midpoint like that. There we go. So half the iron goes to the smelters. The other half comes over here and goes all the way over to the inputs. These guys. There's to him, and over to him. And this is why I tour my stuff. We're going to have to save this back. Now for the outputs, easy peasy. I've got 2 outputs coming down here and 3 coming down over here. Just going to open this up. But these 3 outputs all feed into this one merger here. This guy uses a merger to get a nice tight bend, feeds it into this merger, which collects that, and all of our output goes back over there. And there's a slight bend to this because I didn't feel like offsetting my mergers. It's going to be inside a nice little floor. And I am accepting little side steps of the meter like that in belts as being not bad. We'll leave the corners open so I can reach into the power. Everybody has their power coming down. Want to button goes up like that. And now we save our blueprint back to where it came from. Basic iron and basic iron ingots, check. Now just to verify before I use the machine, come over here and I'm going to grab, it's gone from here, iron and basic iron ingots. So the arrow points toward the mines, in this case our output is also along this line. I probably could have previewed the hologram rather than the final. So the change that I made was to move this belt properly, and it is in the right place. So we're good. And when you are dismantling, if you hit R to go back and forth between dismantle a thing or dismantle the entire blueprint. We're good. Clear blueprint designer. Load blueprint. Iron wire. 6 at 100%, 2 at 135%. And let's see, is this the final version that I had that I liked? I think so. I think the last thing I did was put in the wiring. Now this one is a little more compact. Organization, lookout tower. Look at this from the top real quick. See that I have 2 rows of 4 machines. Now, this is about as tight as I ever want to go on a single floor. Our input comes in here. Let's roll our editor down to the 2nd floor. And this is eight machines, 2 of which are overclocked, turning iron ingot into wire. You'll notice these guys are at 135%, and they have a power shard in them. So this is going to be really painful to show off. Input comes in here. I did miss something. Yes. Okay. The input comes in there. It's this splitter. This is going to be a manifold of 4, and this is going to be a manifold of 4. So the first one goes up here, and the rest of it is split 2 ways. And each one, it's going to send it up and along. A real simple manifold. So it is busy, 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 and compact, and tight, and hard to walk around in, hard to see what's going on, but it's actually simple. Now on the outside, we've got the other half of this. We've got the output coming down, and it goes into mergers. Mergers come all the way down to the end, and then they wrap around. And I was able to use the straight mode to get this to take a little jog to the side. So I basically put down a pole here, and I said straight mode from there to there, and it was able to make the curve without clipping into this. Now, I would have accepted clipping, but I'm really glad it didn't. But it doesn't come through here and over this way. It's coming from that end to this end. So from the west to the east, and here's our output. This side is also coming west to east, but our output here comes this way and makes that same bend that can come merge into this one. So in both cases, the 4 machines are processing stuff from the west end to the east end, and then we merge it all together. We could have the output, could put the output on the other corner over there if we wanted, without any significant effort. So we got that buttoned up. I am going to save it again. And we are going to put it down. Do it from up here. Kind of cool. I should probably put a 4x4 foundation out there, which I can put stuff on top of. Yeah, I'll do that. Foundations. There's my stock 4x4 with subfloor. He's not going to be aligned to world grid. Set up something he's aligned to work. Blueprint. Floor with subfloor. I guess you need to be on top of something. Yeah. Okay, so on top he can clip onto it. So yeah, this is a great way to look at things, but only if you're coming at it from above. Oops. Give myself a little bit of a walkway. And now we can place down our iron wire. And because I'm in mode blueprint, it's going to clip it to the top of that blueprint. We turn it until the arrow faces us, because that's the orientation I would look at it from. Here's our input. Oh, I was going to look at the hologram, wasn't I? We hologram it, and now we can walk through the hologram. And we can see all of the things we were looking at before. Now we couldn't look at what... Oh, hold on. Actually, this makes a great way to view these things. Yeah, okay. It goes red when I'm staying in the middle of something, but... So this is actually a neat way to even see which way that belt is going. Good, good. This is a good way to proofread. That looks good. That's got the smelters on it. Why did it have the smelters on it? I was just looking at this one. Now I'm worried. Blueprints. Iron wire. Okay, that's correct. Okay. So I do not know why the current blueprint changed that was on my blueprint designer. In any case, let's clear you. Next floor up is my cable and pipe floor. I think I actually hadn't started on him before I realized my recording wasn't recording. So, no harm, no foul, no loss, really. So our input comes from one of the back corners. Nominally, it'll be this back corner. Load blueprint. So there's our output. So there's our input. So one thing I forgot. You'll notice that the iron pipes consume iron ingots. We're not done with the previous blueprint. Our output here, this is the wire output. But we need to have some iron ingots for the next level up. Now, we could go down to the first floor and have iron ingots coming out in two places. Let's see if we can do that first, because that's a cleaner way to do it instead of having one floor pass along stuff. The question is, can I have my output split that comes to both of these? And the answer is, of course we can. There we go. So this one will naturally send half of them each way. And whichever one didn't need as much will fill up. Oops. So the iron wire is going to need 108 ingots, and the iron pipe is going to need 48. So what'll happen is the iron pipe machine, there's only one of them. He's running at 48%. So he's going to fill up his input at 60 per minute, or whatever half of the smelting rate is. He will fill up his input, and then the wires will then start coming up to speed. That's okay. That's okay. There we go. So you now need to save back to basic iron and basic iron ingots. If the output split dude has two destinations. Okay, now so our iron ingot input is from here, and our wire is from there. So the wire needs to go to 3 machines making cable, and the ingots here need to go to 1 machine making pipe. This is something that anybody should be able to lay out in their sleep at this point. Well, we need 3 machines. Well, let's put them on these lines right here. Start by making nice clean splitter here, here, here. I am going to use these slightly out. So I'm not clipping these lifts in as closely as I could. These require, I think it was the foundation size, our normal thing. So the cable and the iron pipe, let's look ahead. So the pipe is going to go to the stator along with wire. So we don't get all the wire. If the split on the wire is 50-50, then we can revise the wire to interesting things. But it is 162 to 32, so a small amount of wire. So I am thinking that the cable and pipe needs to have its leftover wire go up, or, well, there's not room underneath the wire floor to split its output 2 ways. So seriously, come on. That is just not happening. Now I think of it, if we are going to be forwarding wire, we could consume wire here, and we're going to forward wire there. Maybe our strategy on the ingots, instead of splitting the ingots in half here, is just to have this send out its leftover ingots? No, because I cannot make that connection. Okay. So we will split it in half for the ingots, but for the wires, we will just send our leftover wire. We're going to have to send up wire. We're going to consume wire and forward it, which means there is our output for wire to go up. Really wish I had signs. Unfortunately, I don't have the quartz that it takes to make signs yet, so can't do signs quite yet, but we're close. We're so close. The wire comes in the back, comes out the front, and that'll head up to be consumed by the stator along with the steel pipe. Now the output here, this is 3 machines making cable. I am going to leave the assembly floor up here as well. So the wire and the cable go to the other machines. So the cable has to go to the pair, wire has to go to the stator. The iron pipe is going to the stator. We have a choice of whether we're going to be bringing these outputs out on this end or that end. Let's not make that choice quite yet. That looks right. Three machines at 90.517%, making cable. So the actual output is 81.466 over. Actually, make it 46. I am betting. So 90.5185. Yeah, having these go a little bit faster than they need to go is not a bad thing. It uses up a little extra power, potentially. Whoops. Okay, so screw inputs are hooked up. Before I button up the wall, let's put the power in. The trick with the power that I've been thinking about is if I hologram it, I can run it back and forth, and then I can run over to the side. Say, does that look? Or just to run these right to the corners. Usual. And that's buttoned that up. Now these, I don't know whether they're going to output over here or over here. But I do know that it's going to come out like that. So the other way I could have done this would have been to bring this input in, push these all the way out to the edge, and do a a three-way split. But if I do a three-way split, I can't collect the leftovers. It would have to come into a splitter, send half of our stuff up. Let's take a look what that looks like. What if we do that? If this is a splitter right here. I think, nope, it conflicts with these guys. I would have to put two splitters in together. They would have to be, let's see here. Well, the more I look at that, the more I'm thinking that might be the way to go. And we can put in that guy. Like that. Okay, so I should have left this guy in. He needs a merger. Output to the right. Either goes that way or that way. Dealer's choice. We'll make that decision when we start laying out the top end. And this means that initially half of our screws are going to head up to the top floor, which means we are going to fill up the input of the stator before we crank the cable machines up completely. That's good. I'll deal with that. Now on the other side, we have precisely one machine turning iron ingots into iron pipe. So the iron pipe will be going to the stator machine. If our iron pipes come over here, so if our iron pipes are on this, our leftover wire our iron pipes and leftover wire need to be gathered together. So our iron pipes need to be input from there and output to there. The wire and pipes in this corner which go up to the stator, and the stator together with all of the cable which is initially coming out anywhere. Yeah, okay. So this guy's going to come in here. I am going to actually be like that. I keep it consistent. Single input, single output. really should just put it dead center in the middle. I'm going to do that. Do I want to move these guys down? Yeah, I think I'll move these guys all down a little bit. Hold on to him as a copy-paste thinger. Just need to move all of that to the left by half of a... splitter. Back half from this way. There. 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 Same coordinate here, but on here and on here. Should match up. Does not match up. These need to be pulled out one. Splitter from the right. Merger to the right. Splitter from me. I'm assuming we've got enough space here before the merger to make this work. That's right, we're not going to put a merger in, we're just going to send it right up. Helps if it lines up properly. There's the cable machines. This is iron pipe. And the iron pipe is running at, its output is 12.20. 8.88%. Good enough. So can I get this there? Kind of a yeah, okay, that works. Come in, we split. And we head. Oops. I think there's a belt in there. There's a belt in there already. Come in here. Split. Half of it goes this way and gets split up to the three of them. The other half is going to go out over there. That works. This is my output merge. Got wire going there. We have our iron pipe going there. The wire and iron pipe. Double checking. Steel pipe. They're both heading up into the stator machine, which is going to be on the end here. And there'll probably be a little bit of hickory pokery underground beneath him, but not a whole lot. And the other one is the output of him and the output of these guys, which means I could put it there. Okay. Expose our power. Oh, we need to run the power. We have run the power for these three. Corners in. guy needs to be run corners. Along this line somewhere there, and actually do this from above there. Everybody's connected to corners. This floor is mostly empty. That's all we needed on him. So this is now called cable and pipe sized for the needed wiring. I like moving things around in editor here. Cable and pipe. Still constructors. I'm going to edit him, and we're going to change his icon to be set him to apart. There we go. But I can't set them to 2 parts. My changes. We're going to go place this down on our proofreading area. Hologrammed it. Go down inside and we see there's our input splits, and we can walk inside it and see the belt. Yay. Okay, and then output comes down here and goes out. The other half of the splitter is forwarded out that way. That comes in, up, and down. Looks good. So what do we need to save out of this? There's our wire. There's the pipe. Side. That's where we've got that one. Clear. And we load up the foundations again. You are changing you are an input, not so these 2 inputs are headed for stator, which is going to be sitting above us. I need to put 3 assembly machines side by side, one pointed each this way, the other 2 the other way. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out with putting one this way, exactly on the center line. And I think I'm going to put you exactly on center. That. I'm going to go there. we're going to go nose to tail. That. Now, I scooched these by 1/2 meter, so clearances on these are going to look a little bit off. They're within tolerance. So this goes up. Get all these hooked up. And the outputs. Okay, easy peasy. This goes to 2 of these. Other 2 here. I think I can take these 2 and drop a splitter down between them. And they are an odd number of meters apart. That's okay. Our splitter will handle that. And he can just line right up. So you come in and immediately get split to these 2 guys. What I'm going to do here is something a little different. Splitter coming from away from, and I am going to here this way. That works. Now I think in this case you have to rerun this lift. Do it anyway just to get the tick, but I think you have to do it or it doesn't hook. So that output's hooked to those 2 inputs. That input 4 goes in there. So these 2 become our outputs, and these 2 inputs from over here come in. Lastly, these 2 merge together, and there's my output. So this one is just too far away. Isabel. He does not need it. Oh, power. Power comes in side. Isn't. Oh, right. He's turned. His power comes into a place. But it's going to be along this line. Grab it and right. We need to bring it down to about there. Son of a... Yeah, I am not going to be able to see whether that's lined up or not. Of course, on the good side, if I can't see whether it's lined up or not, I can't object to how it lines up. Think there. Corner, any corner. Okay. That's a simple floor. All buttoned up, except for the corner pieces. Considering I'm plopping this down precisely once, I think the benefit of using the Blueprint Designer is that I can check it over and debug it and recreate it and proofread it and so on. So this is setters and automated wiring. Oh, I didn't set the recipes yet. You are coming in here. Oh, coming in from this direction. So you are the stators. And the stators are running at 4.073 per minute. And you guys are automated wiring. And automated wiring is running at, 4.07 divided by 2. You know what? I could leave these 100% and just let them run at whatever speed they want to run at. I think go into here, status and automated wiring. Select icon. Automated wiring. We go back into here, blueprints, edit, floors, assemblers. Proofreading. Hologram time. 2 inputs. Into here. And up. There. Your output comes down here and gets split. This input to the floor gets brought in and split 2 ways. And these 2 outputs get merged together and sent out. Looking good. So I think I'm going to just stack these 4 buildings up and they're just going to work. Let's see. Clear Blueprint Designer. All. Sort. So the things we are going to build, first of all, we're going to be putting down 2 Mark II miners. I'm still carrying all the materials for the Dimensional Depot uploaders. I'm going to make sure I have that material on. Start using that soon. Floor 1 is the smelting floor. 2 is iron wire. And floor 3 is cable and pipe. And I have all the materials, although we will be drawing from the $700. Okay. We'll be drawing from the cloud for some of this. It's perfectly okay. It's going to go back over there, find all this crap. The next question is, how much of this can I tear down? I'm going to pause the recording while I do this. This is going to be just tear, and drop stuff and tear more stuff and drop stuff. Back in a moment. Okay, that took a bit longer than I expected, but we are cleared out and everything has gone into the sink except for the 1 box full of many of the rotors. I grabbed a few earlier on and there were some that were made, and that's what we got now. And we don't have rotors anywhere else in the base, so I need to watch that supply, and if it starts getting low, I need to set up a rotor machine. Anyway, time to stack this one up. So I need a 4x4 area out here somewhere to act as my base for my really want a 6x6 area so I can order in it. like it to stand off that. Okay, and this is in the verge. So I think. Oh. Now this central area I want to raise up. I'll put the floor on top of that. Okay, I'm going to need to have a high vantage point for this one. My input limestone will come from here and go into the corner. Input iron is going to come up to that corner. And I cut this too close. I move the building over this way any further, so really that's how much space I have. This is really just a scaffolding to let me see where things are going to go. Come on. So if I put the miner Mark II facing that way, I still have to bring the belt back here and up. I could do an edit and bring it in here instead of over there. That first floor is kind of flexible. Well, not that flexible. Yeah, I can bring it around. Bring it straight. Bring it there to start with. All of those foundations are going away. I did be able to see the top though. Let's see. Station, got tower. Blueprints. We want to start with the iron and basic iron ingots. Going to go on top of that. Arrow points toward me. So limestone goes in over there. From there, and iron, I believe, comes in on that. Let's double check that. Yep, there, makes a turn to there. So I could, the input, do this here. Actually, that's even cleaner than it was before. Now, as for power, I kind of tore up all of the power connections, didn't I? So there's no power out here at all right now. So I am going to arbitrarily say this corner over here is where I'm going to put the power coming. Start from there. There. Let's rerun the belt. Good. Perfect. So now we can see the entire undercarriage. I'm going to get this actually doing things before we button it up. I'm going to be there. I'm going to bring you to that as my official entry point and out to there. Come in, and that gets me on power. Miner Mark II is flying 120. This guy is, I believe, on this level. He's above this level. One meter above this level. I'm going to bring him from there. Something useful on him. Oh, that's less than minimum. Okay. I need to bring him down. That with a ramp. Oh, that's right. This is... I am hoping... useful for me. Take it from there to there. So if we do it that way, get rid of all of this. There. So we're on a nice local grid here, which has to slope down a little bit, but that makes just fine. Put it on that corner. Down to here. Iron Mark II, 16 limestone per minute. That matches up with my checklist. Hello? I don't remember deleting that. I've got to watch that. Mark II, facing that way. Sometimes when you're deleting things, you delete whatever is way far behind them. There we go. 120 per minute, miner Mark II. So those are my outputs. They're not outputs. Dealt with the ore. Okay. That iron's backed up. There's the other thing that got deleted. Okay. Running at 100%. We've got lots of mats. We will need to make sure that everybody gets drained when the output gets drained. Quick check by eye. Well, I can't see it, but I put that over it. I can see that there's ingots on it. And the lifters should show ingots as well. And they do. It's like everybody's working. Want you to be one higher than that. There you go. And that's all buttoned up. The next floor needs to be high enough we feel like we have space above the filters. Next floor up is the iron wire floor. And it wants to go in the wrong place. I was hoping that I didn't have to put in the whole floor here. It is what it is. And I'm going to need a vantage point out here. Oh, hard to aim. Okay. Got the ingots. Wire. Aim that toward me. And then adjust it so it fits exactly there. We've got our inputs coming here. Input coming here. The other output from the floor below skips us and goes up. And this is our output. And we do have the option of changing which corner it is, but I think I got the corners right. That's going to be that. I do need to hook up a power over on that corner over there. A little bit too high. See the nub inside. See if I got room to put it where I wanted to keep it here. Yay! Okay, so everybody's cranked up. Got power. We've got iron coming in. These guys should be running at slightly over speed. It does look like we are consuming a whole lot of ingots. Set us up a tower on this side. See wire. Everybody is glowing green except the guys on the end that are pale blue because they are overclocked. Okay, so now we need to put in the floor for the next guys up. And we'll need to take care of his undercarriage. Doesn't matter what kind of wall we use. Okay, next one's going to be on top there. We need to take care of the floor, and I will use that as my vantage point for above. Careful. You do not want to tear out the things that need to be left up. Let's see, check to make sure all the walls are in. Power is going. We are good. I think using the vertical was better. Okay, you're buttoned up. That actually went fairly easily. Next floor. So we've got the wire coming up here. And we have the ingots coming up on the other side. Out here, cable and pipe. And the arrow needs to point that way. Make sure this is aligned. This. No, I'm going to bring the wire in over here. Splits. There. The other half goes out there to be passed along. We've got iron ingots coming in here, going up and out there, and other than that, it's real simple. Our power's on this side. I'm going to complete it with me standing here. I think I am going to go ahead and put in that much floor. I'm fairly certain this is just going to work. Okay, iron ingots going in here. You should be taking your pipe. Yes, you are. Bring your fire up. Comes. No power. This guy has power. These guys don't. I did something wrong. Why? I was showing. Heck. Power connections are all wrong. They're completely wrong. Oh, I put the power connections in when they were arranged differently. Okay, so if I rebuild this ever, I'll have to do this again because I'm not going to go back and change things. But now all of our cables are flowing. Make sure we're getting them on the end. Actually, it's easier to run around below with it closed up like this because I can just walk over belts. Maybe from now on, when I set these things up, I'll put in the higher floor. If I do that, it means I have to take out the higher floor if I want to rework any belts. Well, I think everybody's got it. Last thing I wanted to check is this guy. Yep, he's got. So we just need to take care of the underfloor. And it helps if I take care of the holes too. Now the underfloor needs to go. Looking good. One more level. That's too high. I need to be... there. So I think that if I build up on these blueprints, if I build anything up to the appropriate level, I think the next blueprint just stamps down on top of it correctly. And white arrow goes that way. Got one of our outputs here. Make sure that's up. Stators and automated wiring. That looks right. We have an input here. We have inputs here. We have output. I just got an achievement for building 5,000 foundations. That's supposed to be my output. It's the same as this is, yeah, we've got a problem here. I may have to reroute this output. In fact, I think I'm going to. It's going to be here. Fortunately, that's easy enough to switch. So, still need to hook up the inputs from the back. There's the cable. This guy's got his wire. Nothing's coming up here. Oh, it is coming up. It's just coming up slowly. Oh, because it's being consumed as fast as it's being brought up. Okay. All right. And he is crunching away. He's going. And I am seeing stuff. Well, he should be. Yep, there they are. There's my precious stuff. Let's, this into place. Ah. Getting in there takes a combination of crouching and jumping, and apparently sometimes I overdo it and I get a little bit of parachute action too. Fortunately, parachutes are not consumable anymore. Yay! So with our stuff coming out, we can start filling this up. Okay, so just need to do the upper floor now. Things and the underfloor. Oops. Okay. Our bonus tower's on the way down. I believe we have finished up. Let's check Nothing off of that corner. Not destroy the space elevator while I'm doing this. Have done that. I mean, it's not a problem, you just put it back, but kind of embarrassing. Okay, so this building is done. Just need to bring his output down. And I rerouted it to be in the same spot as the ore input. He's come down over there. I'm going to do... I'm going to bring it down to that floor right there. Ah. Come to here. I'm going to make the turn to the left. I'm going to go from there down to there. I wonder if I could do this all in one swoop. Straight mode isn't going to get me there. It's too long. If I bring it out to a hole, this corner, well, that's acceptable. Jeez, look at all of that. So we're asking for about 20 minutes of production on this thing. And we're already a third of the way there just from the time it took me to button this thing up after getting it going. So while I was waiting for that, I was going to finish off the other Tier 4 science researches. Yeah. So once we put a shell on the outside of that, so it's going to be a 6x6 footprint, and then we're going to do stuff to make it look like a decent building. If that building survives, that is. Those two probably are going to survive, although they're only going to use half of the nodes. I mean, right now, a pair of nodes of the Mark I miner will just use one of those nodes. The other node will run its ore off for somebody else in a different building. Those will be buildings over there. That may be a building if we keep it. I don't know. Maybe. Don't know what that part is used for. Anyway. So what do we need to do the unlocks? Power. Let's see. We need 2,000 of these guys. And probably most of the rest of them we probably have on us. Let's see here. Oh, that's right. I've been grabbing those from the cloud. And modular frames. Where are my modular frames? I think I had some modular frames up at Upper Steel. Yeah. $200 we need. I'll get some extras. I'm probably going to need 500 for the next one or something. I should have looked. Well. There we go.
Milestone reached. After several pioneers started exhibiting traumatic responses to power blackouts, Fixit developed mitigation tools recommended by your local therapist. Power storages can hold excess power to delay or prevent blackouts in the eventuality that your factory's power consumption exceeds production. To simplify, these are rechargeable batteries. Power towers carry power lines for significantly greater distances than poles, facilitating factory expansion and exploitation of this environment for the good of Fixit and humanity.
Where did I leave my... I think my pipes are up there at the Upper Steel, too. Let's go get them. Oh, I've got the new power towers. Right. Shall I run the new power towers out there? Let's see. I may need to come up with some conventions on how I do the power towers. I will think about my power tower conventions. Very late game, the last game I played in Update 8, I ended up putting my power towers on a grid up high in the sky. So I had these massive skyways where I had belts moving massive amounts of material and power towers above them. It worked out really well. No, you don't have pipes. It's the other steel area that's got the pipes. So I think I have all the materials necessary to open up the hypertubes. Also going to have to think about my conventions on hypertubes. I don't want to just be randomly stringing hypertubes everywhere. I want to have kind of a organization to it. Central spot where everything comes, and then I can take a tube out. I think I saw one of my friends had some tubes where he could go in and out the same hole. "90 seconds. Power conventions, each campus, I'm going to have a power pole. Probably, I think I will put it up on a bit of a foundation. We'll do something architectural with it in the future. Like that. Give me a way to get up there. So centered on this, I'm going to put a power tower platform. Holy smokes. It's huge. It's huger than I thought it was. Okay. Means it's really that footprint up there. That. Give a way up there. Let's see. Power tower platform. A plate's in the way. I have to away from it. Hologram it. I think that's centered, and yeah, I thought I remembered that it came up the center. So now we have these power platforms. This naturally has a directionality way and that way. It doesn't have to be a on center. Um, so if you grab the power tower itself, oh my, these are extreme. So I'm going to make another foundation, another these big bump foundation thingies. This fit. I want to give the impression when you look at it from far away that this is really a major piece of work. So the next one's going to go over there and power him. And from here, this guy powers this entire region. I think these have two connections to them. One of those down. Okay, so they have three connections. So you put a line of towers and then have it have one tower off to the side. I'd really like to turn this 45 degrees. Can you do that? Okay, without... Suppose I could turn the foundation 45? Now I will just let the wires do what they do. Although if I'm sending it straight that way, I do need to work out how to do corners. So I would like to set this up diagonally. Oh, you could do that. That's centered. Admittedly, it's got the ladder of the run. There we go. Ladder is kind of in this quadrant. Half meter nudge is useful here. You connect. So this point on the power line, you can connect to 4 of the little guys. I think I'm always just going to connect down like that. Now we could this way. That way, we're not crossing these guys. Him anymore. Him. Well, I might need stations around him. Ready to go. We should be ready to go. Waiting for resources. Hypertube's ready to go.
Milestone reached. By adding hypertube entrances at both ends of hypertubes, pioneers can achieve two-way travel between locations. They are also % safer than jump pads. You dreamed of moving across factories like valued resources, such as rocks and water, and Fix-It listened to your dreams. We watched them. We took extensive notes. Hypertubes. Because Fix-It makes pioneers' closely monitored dreams come true.
So the hypertubes, I'm wondering if maybe the hypertube network is going to mirror the power network. So it would have the hypertube in the kind of the basement area of these guys. So lower, but along the same route. Which means that maybe what I do is I zoop that out. And the hypertubes are below that level. And I use that to figure out where to put my guys. And I just always build my main power on that grid. At some distance. These are just for measurement right now. It's an idea. And it means that my hypertubes would kind of be an obvious part of my standard stuff. Long-term power, hypertubes, and railroad probably get kind of co-located. But we're ready to take care of the delivery down here. And I think this is going to be what I call the porting. So, phase 2 of Operation Assembly. Ready? Okay, so that's what it looks like before phase 2. Nice.
Welcome to the Project Assembly Pioneer Progress presentation. Congratulations, the Phase 2 project part shipment is now ready for delivery. On delivery, Phase 2 will be completed and the construction dock will be constructed. After completion of Phase 2, the technologies of Tiers 5 and 6 will become available in the hub. These might feel intimidating after your previous experience, but rest assured that you would not be here if you were entirely incompetent. Highlights are oil production, railway transportation, the jetpack, and many more. Completing Phase 3 of Project Assembly is your next main objective. Just remember to focus on producing and delivering the project parts, and Fix-It's faith in you will be strengthened.
Versatile frameworks make a comeback.
Phase 2 of Project Assembly completed. You have been performing more adequately under pressure and are closer than ever to saving the day. Perhaps you were the right choice for the job. Time will tell. You will now enter phase 3 of project assembly. Continue as you are, and there should be no issue. For humanity. For fix it.
Cool. Oh, it's a lot of little bits that are moving around up there too. Hey, so versatile frameworks make a comeback. Modular engines and adaptive control units, which I don't know how to make yet. And before I sign off, you can get a little preview of what our next researches are going to look like. Oh, don't need these guys anymore. This was just my... I was using those to set the order of my recipes in my document file. Tier 5, jetpack. Jetpack means you can throw fuel out your back and whoosh around. Oil processing. Oil has some interestingly complicated recipes. Lots of feedback loops in oil. Conveyor Mark IV. This is where we start doing really interesting things with the conveyor belts. 480 resources per minute. I think these are the workhorse. And a truck, which is another vehicle. Fluid packaging, so you can put fluids into things that move along belts. And better power. And if you didn't have Caterium already, this would open it up for you. So get into tier 6, you've got computers, the manufacturer, which can combine up to 4 elements, 4 items, heavy modular frames, the modular engine. These are the 2 things we need for project parts. We've got trains. Yay! Train signals are separate from trains. You have to research train signals. I suppose you research trains, you get one train going over there and back. You research signaling, and now you can have multiple trains on the same track. Pipeline Mark II. Oh, so the pump has 50-meter head lift. And, of course, the pipeline has double the volume. And this increases the size of your blueprints. So it was 32 by 32 by 32. Now it's 44 by 40. So 5 foundations on a side. So motors. And looks like motors are the key thing we need. And to get Logistics Mark IV, we need to get rubber going. So motors and rubber. During early access, some of the oil recipes that I liked the best transitioned one of their fluids into a packaging and back. I think it was water, where you dumped water in a canister and it went over there and then it got undumped, and it all worked very well. We'll see. But oil processing gets you all of this stuff. Yeah, okay, so this gets oil so you can make things like plastic and rubber. And then petroleum power is separate. So the fuel power generator consumes fuel at a fixed rate, generates a constant amount of power constantly, shuts down if it doesn't have fuel. Yeah. I'm thinking oil processing will be the first thing I want to go for. That's what we'll be working towards. So I will be ripping up a factory somewhere and setting up a factory for motors. We still have 5 depot unloaders on that list. You hear my machine going. Do I have I have one more ticket to get. 65 tickets. So we're starting to get a decent amount of tickets here. I want to start spending this stuff on, well, Hypertube. I'm not a big Hypertube person. I'll be using them, but I'm thinking I probably won't be punching holes in walls and floors for a bit. Organization. Let's unlock the signs. In fact, let's unlock all the signs. The double ramp set is nice, especially if I'm going to start moving things around and making long roads of ramps. I'm going to hold off for a bit more. Walls. Let's start bringing this stuff in. So we have steel-framed windows and windowed walls. I'm going to start making buildings. I'm going to need all of these. Tilted walls, ramp walls, inverted ramp walls, windowed walls, steel-framed windows, door walls, okay. Architecture. How many? I've used 42 out of my 65. Oh, these go fast. Well, I may just have to automate some stuff and send it into the sink. Okay, so metal pillars, concrete pillars, frame pillars, all things that I use when I start making interesting things. Structural beams. Road barriers, I think road barriers make it easy to get decent angles on things. Grab the roofs. Commit.
Where did you leave your lizard doggos? What's in this storage container? Where did you put the essential components needed to save humanity? Do you wish there was text to prevent you from constantly taking the wrong turn? Disguise your struggles to comprehend the complexity of your surroundings with signs.
And of course, we're not buying any of this stuff. So we have a whole bunch of architectural things. We can start thinking about making decent looking buildings. I haven't bought everything yet, but we're getting close. I only have 2 tickets left. I haven't bought any. Oh, there's a bunch of foundations that I need to pick up also. We're going to have to send some things into the sink and build up some tickets before we can really do decent buildings. Oh well, so close. Well, at least I've nailed down most of what I need. So we're going to log out up on the Hawa Tawa. Looking out at our most recent building, which actually we could turn off now because it isn't needed anymore. Hold on. Automated wiring. Yeah, it's not used in anything. So we're done with it. This whole building only needed to live for 20 minutes. Oh, wait a minute. I just said that he had to do a whole bunch of stuff into a... This is the most advanced part I've got. And I've got it automated at a decent rate. Bring it down into a box, which I will then run into the sink. Hey, by coincidence. Sink. Oh. So there's going to be a big burst here until this settles down to its normal rate. This is going to be... It's done the initial load of what was left. And now I can just toss stuff in here if I want to sink it. So for instance, I could sink that stuff. Let's not sink everything. See, it already got me another coupon. So I could build another one of these if I wanted to really beef up my ticket production. Or I could take these other two nodes and build up something equally awesome. But yeah, there we have it. Now I'm going to shut it down. How long ago did I say I was going to end this? Half an hour ago. So, need to make sure that we have all of that stuff automated that's on my screen right there. Automate some fancy stuff to put into the sink to get points so we can unlock the rest of the things we need to make good looking buildings. I will see you in the next recording.